Sick of sitting at your job, daydreaming about the life that you would have if you'd won that big jackpot? Do you want to design a life for yourself that you don't need to take a vacation from? Do you have a vision for your life that you just don't know how to make a reality? Next Exit Your Destiny is a witty, comical, yet straightforward guide that gives you common sense, easy to follow steps to make the life you dream of the life that you live. Get off of Unfulfilled Street, Unhappy Way, and Sunday Night Blues Boulevard and take the next exit towards your destiny today.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome back to Dream Building 101. I am your host, Dr. Ebony Potts, author of Next Exit Your Destiny, Taking the Road Towards the Life of Your Dreams. Info on how to purchase this book is down in the comments below. I am also, obviously, your host of Dream Building 101. On this channel, we interview people from different walks of life to give you concrete examples of individuals who are walking their own individualized path to fulfillment. And I have the pleasure today of interviewing someone that I went to high school with, who I am so proud of. Before I introduce you to her, if you like what you see, go ahead and hit like, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. However, I am today interviewing Miss Keely Bembry. How are you today, ma'am?
I'm amazing. How are you?
I'm doing well. Well, I'm going to let you introduce yourself. Tell the people who you are, what you do, what you have going on, and tell a little bit about yourself.
Okay, I am Keely B, also known as Keely B Styles. I am a child of God first, but I am also added on to that a costume designer for film and television. I'm an image consultant for whoever. It used to be only for celebrities, but now I expanded to anyone who needs that inner work done. I do the outer work for them. I opened up a boutique to make myself more available. It's called Secur. It's in Jersey City. And now I recently expanded and opened up a men's boutique, which is 4 doors down from the women's, which is called Secur Men. And
Wow.
I'm a mom of 2. Yeah. So that's who I am. That's parts of who I am. Yes, but
Busy woman. Of course, I knew Keely and her sister when we were in high school together, but I did not know that she had the talent to do all of this, so I'm very, very proud of her. And, we are Facebook buddies, and, I would see her. And for those of you who are not in the world of fashion, image consultant, what I know of as a stylist. So, what's the difference between an image consultant and a stylist, or is it just a new packaging of that term?
No, I think the word image consultant has always been around, but I as I grew in my artistry, I decided to go more with that word than stylist, because a lot of new stylists who don't know the art of being a stylist just, they just say, oh, I'm a stylist, but it's actually an art. It's actually you looking at that person image, their lifestyle, their everyday patterns, whatever it is that comes with them, and saying, how can I bring the beauty or accentuate the beauty out of you? So I think image consultants, we look deeper. We are stylists, but being that everyone takes the word stylist, you could be a hairstylist, you could be a clothing stylist. I just feel like it's so basic. Image consultant to me is like, no, I'm going deeper.
Yeah, because people, when I think of stylist, I'm thinking of for a specific event. And I'm assuming that image stylist, or image consultant, you're thinking about not only the event that this person is going to, but how can you represent that individual?
Yeah.
How can, you push them forward for this particular event, but who are they? What is it that they're trying to put out in the world?
Yeah.
So, that definitely, obviously, I understand
Or
now.
who are you, or a lot of times we aren't who we really are, or how we truly see ourselves. We just go with what life makes of us. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't really dig deeper into how we always imagine ourselves. We just deal with what the pieces that was handed to us, and then we just make do from there. Especially women, because we know how to pick up the pieces and keep it moving. But it's like, no, who do you really see yourself as? Let me just pull that out of you, so you can be the best you. You know, who you always imagined you to be. You know.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. And you're right, especially as moms, as women, we're doing so many things, we're pulled in so many different directions.
Mhm.
I'm mommy, I'm wife, I'm girlfriend, my career, and where you fit in your family. And a lot of times you just grab something and go.
Yeah.
But to take the time to actually think about who are you, what are you trying to put out there, what piece of you, because every time you wear something, I think that you're kind of reflecting a different, either your mood or what is it that you're feeling
Mhm.
today. That can all change, because one day you might be, sexy, and then the other day, I'm trying to be about my business, and I'm trying
Precisely.
to go get whatever, I'm trying to go get this thing, so everybody is multifaceted. And I
That
think
part.
that fashion is an awesome way to represent the different portions and different parts of who you are.
Yeah, it really is. You get to express yourself without saying a word. And I
That's
always say
true.
to people, your first impression leaves a lasting impression. So before you speak, unfortunately, we live in a world of perception. So however people perceive you is how they receive you. And normally we perceive people before we even speak to them. I could walk down the street and we could naturally just make up a whole story about a person just from that first impression, you know? So it's like, what do you want people to receive you as? What do you want them to say to you? And not that what they say matters, as far as don't front. When we're walking down the street and people just walk by us and we're not our best selves, pieces of us start to get chipped away because no one said, "Hey, beautiful." No one said, "I like that." And if you're having a bad day, that just makes matters worse. Now imagine walking down the street and somebody says, "Hey, beautiful, I love your scarf." That kind of builds your confidence. It's like, yes, I am beautiful, and yes, my scarf is it. You know what I mean? It helps us. So I was just asking God, how can we do that? Like, how could I give back with this gift that you gave me? Like, and really be purposeful with my walk here on earth. And he was just like, well, go get my women. And I was like, well, who are they? He was like, the everyday woman. And I was like, I work with celebrities. I don't work with the everyday woman. He was like, okay, let's retract. Let's start all over. And so I took the risk and I started all over, and I met her and I loved her. And I'm like, wow, she does need to fix her crown, because the crown exists. We just need us to remind each other, hey, beautiful, I love your smile. Even if the person's not smiling, they're going to smile. So I intentionally say that to people because I'm like, whatever's going on is showing, sis. Hold your head up. That's the beautiful part about image consulting, is we get to bring the inner beauty out, you know?
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What was your career path like once you graduated from high school? How did you end up where you are? And like I said, we're Facebook buddies, and I see, your images that you put out of yourself are, beautiful. And the images I see of you working, and I know you're not going to name drop, but you work with some people that all of us, or most of us, you wouldn't know. I see you hanging out with Megan Good and Little Kim, and again, in that world, having fun and doing what seems like that is your passion. How did you end up there?
I started when I was in high school. I started going to the village a lot. A friend of mine had a prom dress and it was a catastrophe. She spent $1,600. You know, in high school, that was a lot of money to be spending on
Right.
a prom dress. And she was just so distraught. And I was like, well, who made that dress? You know, and she was like, I paid 16. I was like, well, we're going back to the store. And she's like, no, no, no. A lot of celebrities go there. And I was like, girl, you're a celebrity. We weren't, but in our minds, we were. You know, I was like, your money's not different from theirs. So I took my little self to the village and had a conversation with the owner. I was just like, this isn't acceptable. And I don't know what type of service you're running here, but you would really exceed abundantly if you did it efficiently. And he was just like, listen, little
Right.
girl,
Who are you? Right. Who
right,
is
you
this little
talk a
girl?
lot. And I was like, so it's as I was sitting there literally for 6 hours that day waiting for her dress to be made over, because I made them make it over. I just was like, you guys must be hiring because you're struggling, and they hired me as a model, and they knew I could sell. I felt like they knew I could sell. To this day, they say they didn't, but whatever. But they hired me as a model because they wanted me to be quiet. So it was just like, put on clothes and models don't talk. And I was just like, okay, that's fine. And they were paying better than back then. Don't laugh, y'all. It was $6.50 an hour. Everywhere else was paying like $5.15. So I was like, I'm getting a lot of money.
Well, hey, when I first started working, I was making $5.05 an hour, at the McDonald's that everybody in our high school worked at.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. On 22. So it was like, that was a lot of money. I was like, oh yeah, $6.50 an hour to be quiet. It's gonna be a little tough, but I'm gonna do it. But that company allowed me to grow and meet so many different people. And as I met them, I realized I never was starstruck. You'll be surprised who I'm starstruck over. But I was never starstruck over the big celebrities that came in. It was just like, all right, listen, I'm about to make this commission. Let me sell you some things. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And they treated me like I was a celebrity because of the way I put on the clothing that was in the store. And they always was like, oh, can we hire you? But I was so afraid. Like, I was just like, I'm not worthy. I can't show them that. But I was like, oh no, I'm no one's assistant. I'm no one's this. June Ambrose at one point was talking about me assisting her. I was like, oh, I'm no one's assistant. If I could do life over, because, and the reason I say that, not that, it's June Ambrose. Back then it's June Ambrose. She was just a celebrity stylist, but she was a great celebrity stylist. She was doing her thing. But I just felt like I didn't have enough humility to realize, no, you have to assist to become. I just wanted to become. And I did just become because, God's going to do. He's like, oh, you don't want to take this way. I'm going to just push you out there. But there's different things you're going to have to deal with if I'm pushing you out there. So I thank God that I had the opportunity to just become a stylist just like that. But I wish I had a teacher because it would have made life so much easier,
Previously, I was speaking with someone about the fact that you got to pay your dues, and you're going to pay them one way or the other. Just like you said, God pushed you out there as a stylist, but you still had to learn. You still had to, hit those same bumps and bruises. And tell us about a challenge that you faced on your path. Everyone has a turn back moment where you're on that path. And, a lot of times it's because of fear, like you spoke about already. There's a whole chapter in my book about fear. But, it could be anything. And how did you overcome that obstacle? And what did you learn from your experience?
Every year there's a challenge. So it's like, I'm trying to think of one of the biggest ones, which I feel like with us, challenges, the same challenge can come back over and over again. It's like, are you going to pass the test? And even if you pass the test, it will come back in a different form. So for me, one of the biggest though was I was working with little Kim, and I was going through some craziness in my life, and I was just like, God, get me out of this, get me out of this. I need a distraction. I was going through a divorce and I needed a distraction. And then Kim came along, even though she's always been my in-house, client. She never was my client outside of the shop. So I was just like, her assistant called me, and I was like, hey, Kim has a balance here at the shop because, celebrities come and they pull, they try on, and then they return. So before she had a chance to return, I was like, she has a balance and she could keep everything if she just hires me. I don't know what made me do that. I'm really an introvert, y'all. You would never believe it. But I was just like, tell her to just hire me for the rest of her time before she goes to prison for her Naked Truth project. And I promise she won't be disappointed. And it was like, I don't know about this. Kim doesn't hire anybody. And I was like, well, I'm not just anybody. I had to boost up my own confidence. Like, wait, hold on. So then I went ahead and Kim said yes. And when she saw it was me, she put the name and the face together when I showed up. She was like, sis, yeah, I'll hire you. And I started out making $500 a day, right? That's not a lot as a stylist, especially in the early 2000s. And I was just so grateful. It wasn't a lot for me either because at that point I was part of a big business. To us, it was a big business. We owned stores in the city, and I was married to somebody who was like, the owner. So I had a part in the business, and we making thousands in an hour. So 500 a day for peace of mind, I'll take that on L9. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, okay, I'll take it. And I didn't know I was worth more. So, like I said, just jumping into it and not realizing my worth. Until you realize your worth, people won't value you. Kim knew my worth before I knew my worth. I just was talking to her literally 2 days ago about this. She was like, you had no idea what you had. Like back then, and who was it? Atlantic Records offered me either 2,000 or 2,500 a day to work with her. Kim was paying me 500 a day. And then we were working, doing something for Viacom. It was for VH1, the Countdown to Lockdown, Kim's show. That was 2,500 a day. Do the math with me. That's
Right.
5,500 a day. I didn't know I deserved it. I didn't know who I was. I never did the work before I got to it. You get what I'm saying? I did, but I didn't. I didn't work under another stylist. I didn't have the opportunity to learn under someone else, to understand the hard work that goes into this. I just love fashion, and I had a passion for it, and God gave me that gift. But I didn't think I was worth it. So believe it or not, I got depressed. I fell into a deep depression when Kim went away to jail, and I was just trying to figure out, like, the opportunities were coming. I didn't think I was worthy. Are you crazy? She was like, shut up. She was like, let me talk to you after the meeting. And she was like, if they want to pay you that much, let them. Do not. You are worth that much. And I was just like, I didn't understand it. And I just, when I tell you, I fell for about 2 years. I went into a funk. I went into depression. I went into a dark space because I didn't know my worth. And they were coming. And when I tell y'all, the opportunities were knocking at my door, and I was in a state of just being paralyzed. That fear of just getting out of fear and then fighting, depression and not understanding my value because of bad relationships. It just was like, but we repeated. Like, I'm not going to say that was the last time I didn't realize. I moved to a new city, Atlanta, and they didn't know who I was. And I was just like, how dare you not know who I am? And it was just like, you got a lot of nerve, but some people knew, but not the majority, like New York and New Jersey, that area. So I was just like, okay, wait, I had to start all over, but I prayed to start all over because I wanted to know who I was for the kingdom of God. And it was humbling, but I'm so grateful for the experience, because then I figured out my purpose in that. Now, when I have downfalls, I just had one a couple of months ago, and everything was going good. My downfalls is when things are going good, because I don't know that I deserve, till this day. As I'm receiving my blessings, I'm like, wait, Lord, what's about to happen bad? Because too much is going well, and I'm like, what's the lesson? What are you trying to show me? Why am I falling to pieces on the inside while I'm being celebrated all around me? Like, to live abundantly, to love yourself. Why do you think you don't deserve all of these things that I'm giving you and that you worked so hard for? I just met you where you started. Like, you started, and I just met you there. Like, you got this. I'm behind you. And I was just like, let me feel this completely, so when it comes back around, I could be like, I already know who you are. Go sit down.
I recognize you.
I recognize you. That is you. Okay. We're not doing this today. So it's not a bad thing to have down moments. To me, it's a great thing, because that's where the lessons are learned.
You dropped so many gems right there. You touched on one thing that, I don't know if you remember Tarek Davis. He's an actor that we went to high school with as well. He's currently working. He's not currently, because things are filmed beforehand, but he worked with Nicole Kidman in The Undoing, which is on HBO. He's done quite a few things, but I interviewed him a few weeks ago, and his interview was actually on this channel. But he talked about not recognizing the fact that you are deserving of opportunities when they come, and if you can't feel as though, okay, I can do this, I'm deserving of this, that the opportunities start to fade away, and you touched on that.
Yeah.
Also, one of the things I talked about in my book as well is those moments of, you kind of have to see what can seem like a down moment as a lesson, because that's what it's all about. And you will circle back to that same lesson over and over until God feels as though, you got it. Okay, you got it. Let's move on to the next lesson. Think about when you're in school and, they're teaching you certain standards, and, life has standards. There's things you have to learn, and everyone's different. Everyone has different lessons they have to learn. But again, just like the teacher, God obviously is the ultimate teacher, but the teacher is going to keep on that particular standard until you get it.
Yeah.
and then once you get it, then we move on to something else that we need
Yeah.
to move on. And,
Right.
life is funny that way. But I'm glad that you were able to go through that and that you do see your worth. And I'm sure
Yeah.
that there's someone that's going to watch this that has had those same thoughts. All of us, at times are looking for validation and feeling as though we're worthy to opportunities because, sometimes when things happen, I remember the first time I became like an assistant principal. Of course, that doesn't sound like to some people like a big deal, but I remember sitting in the office and I was like, am I ready for this? Like, is this
Right.
okay? Like, yeah, and I had to say, I literally sat at my desk. I said, okay, God put me here. I can do it. Like, if he
Yeah.
put me, convince myself, if he put me here, I can do it. I can handle it. Everybody had to start
Yeah.
at this point and they had to learn. So I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to be okay, and
Absolutely.
you have to have that positive self-talk with yourself. What do you love about what do you do? I'm sure there's lots of things you love about what you do. And what is the most challenging aspect of what you do?
What I love about what I do is the reaction from what I do. The way women and men, how they see themselves. It's like they see something totally different. I see their confidence like change right before my eyes. You know what I'm saying? I love the fact that I am moving in my purpose, and I'm not saying my purpose is always the same thing. I know it's this, the bottom line is the same. The picture might change, but the bottom line is the same, and that's to serve people, to serve God by serving his children, by pulling somebody else up to show them how amazing they are, how fearfully and wonderfully made they are, through image consulting, through dressing them up on the outside so God could do the work on the inside on them, to watch the transition in of God's glory. That's my biggest thing. It's just like, Lord, we did that. Bless up, because it's COVID. It doesn't have to be a whole crowd. It could just be a one-on-one session, but we're going to celebrate life right now. Like, we're going to enjoy ourselves right now. We're going to try on clothes, we're going to do the most, but without doing the most, and I like that. It's just, it brings peace. It brings so much peace to me because it's like, I get to make money while doing what I love. And I don't even think about the money aspect of it. The money chases me because I don't think about it, and I'm just like, I could do this. This is living, But what was the second question?
I definitely can see your passion. Definitely can see that you enjoy pouring into people. I mean, it comes through even on the screen. The second part of the question was, what's the most challenging aspect of what you do?
That unsurety. The Sometimes I need to do self-care, and sometimes you're there so much for other people, you forget to take care of yourself and to recharge your own battery. So forgetting to live abundantly for myself and not just others. That's my biggest area of opportunity, is not loving myself enough, not working on Keely and what Keely needs. And we don't recharge, then we're just pouring what's in our cup and there's nothing left for us.
There's
Where what's in
nothing
our
left.
cup
Yeah.
is ours. We cannot give people what belongs to us. You can just give your overflow, but I was pouring until my cup felt empty. You know what I'm saying? To the point where God was like, well, you got it. You know what you're doing. So I'm going to let you do what you're doing. And when you're ready, you're going to come back to me. And if you don't come back to me, I'm going to let you feel it until you have no choice. And me coming back to him is loving me. Because he wants us to do that. Because we can't love him or anybody else until we love ourselves. So 2020 taught me to start working on what self-love is. Never knew I didn't love myself till last year. And I was like, whoa, I don't love myself. I love your children, God. I love you. He was like, you can't love any of us until you love yourself. You got to starts with you.
Well, listening to you, you and I have a lot of traits in common. I'm an empath. I am an introvert. And one thing I think, especially nowadays, people are more familiar with those terms, introvert, extrovert. Before it was, oh, you're just shy. Oh, come out of your shell. Oh, why are you so quiet? I think people are more familiar with those different terms now and what they mean. But I am an empath, especially with all the stuff that's going on nowadays. outside of whatever's happening within your own personal life, the political scene and COVID and this and that. And, you have to kind of just shut that stuff off, because I absorb the energy from all of that and I carry it around. Everybody else is going on with their day, and I'm feeling in a funk and I don't know why, not realizing that I'm carrying the energy of that. And in addition to that, introverts naturally, all of the stuff that extroverts do naturally, that they're energized from, you get something from doing those things because you're walking in your path. But it's almost like you start with a battery, and each time you are being extroverted, your battery is going down, and you don't necessarily feel it. And I was talking to, again, another one of our classmates, Dr. Bannister. He's a therapist. And I was telling him about, the fact that I had been to therapy myself. And again, nothing wrong with therapy, people.
No, it's not
I'm
anything.
glad that people are, seeing that it's okay to go ahead and work on any kind of issues that you have. But one of the things that she said to me was, you literally need to take a calendar and drop a pin, like every month and a half, every 2 months, schedule yourself a day off. Doesn't matter what's coming up. It's on your calendar, whatever's going around, make sure you schedule everything around that day, so that you don't get to the point where you look up and you're on the floor, because really, being a woman, again, being a woman in our society, you're pulled in so many different directions, especially if you're working, you got children, you have a husband, you got a boyfriend, whatever it is that you have going on, you're pulled in so many different directions. And then the personality type as well has its own challenges, just like everybody's personality type has its own challenges. But I'm going to drop that suggestion to you, ma'am, because it definitely has helped me to be more conscious, of the fact that, like, man, I'm feeling some kind of way. What's going on with me? Actually, just taking the time to think that thought without thinking about everybody else and everything else you have.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Listen.
Yes, ma'am.
You preaching over there.
I'm trying to help somebody. I'm trying to help somebody, because it ain't just me. I know it's not,
Yeah.
If you could tell someone out there who may just be starting on their path to fulfillment, because that path to fulfillment looks different for everyone, what would you tell them? What would you say to them about getting on that path and working towards the life that aligns with who they are?
I would say, do it. We have nothing but space and opportunity. Write it down. Make it plain. Go get your inheritance. Don't worry about the noise in the background. And the noise in the background is your other side of you telling you to stop. Don't do it. You're not good enough. And that comes from the old noise from other people. What the world has made of us. So what if you don't get it right the first time? I didn't get it right the first time. I didn't get it right the second time. I didn't get it right the third time, But I get up and get it every day. I get up and try it again. Last week, I was like, I don't think I want to do this anymore. I'm tired, but I exhausted myself. And I was like, Lord, show me a sign if you want me to still do this. And did he show signs. Just don't stop. Like, literally just go. Take breaks. As you do small accomplishments, take a second and show some gratitude to yourself, to God, to whatever, and just embrace that. Like, I did that. Look at it and enjoy it for a second, and then move to the next thing. A lot of us of the arts are jack of many trades, master of none. I was guilty of it. One thing at a time. Don't take on too much, just one thing at a time. If you have the leverage or the cushion to stay at a family member's house and just work towards your goal, take it. Don't take advantage, though. Still add to those people and just don't take from them, because a lot of us is walking out here and they're vampires and it's sucking up people energy. Don't do that. Have a plan. Execute the plan. Don't plan to get it all done in one day. Pace yourself and execute it. Check that checklist off. But bigger than anything, don't type it up. Don't text it. I want you to get a pen and paper, and I want you to write it down. And then write down dates. And then watch God do the rest. because the word says, write it down, make it plain. But don't stop. Don't give up. Don't give up. When it gets the hardest, that means there is something on the other side of that mountain, and you speak to that mountain and you tell that mountain to move. Only a fool trips over what's behind them. Don't trip over what's behind you. Keep moving forward. If you have that entrepreneur spirit inside of you, transform your thoughts daily, because our mind, it will send you in a space that you do not want to stay in. Come up out of that. But you have to speak to yourself. You have to say it out loud. Words are so powerful, and it's so important to feed our spirits, ourselves, however you choose to do it, but ourselves. Speak to yourself. Write notes. Take notes. Watch influencers who talk about just inspirational things. Go to YouTube. Whatever you need to do. Go to Ebony. Whatever you need to
Dream
do.
Builder 101 right here.
Go to 101, and it's all therapeutic. Like, just to remind yourself of who you are. You got the same 24 hours I do. -70 in my account. But I know he had a plan for me. A plan for me to win, and I was just like, all right, Lord, you keep on putting this vision in my head. I'm going to do the work. I'm going to go out. I'm going to go look for these locations. We ain't got no money, right? And I want y'all to know that the -70 it was only -10, but they hit me with the 2 fees. But I'm just being transparent. My life is real, and I want you to know that this is not glitz and glam. It can be when it is, but when I'm not doing the work, it's not.
Where can anyone who is watching get in contact with you? What's your web address, Instagram, business website? Where can they get in contact with you?
Everything is Secure by KBS. So the Instagram is Secure by KBS or Secure_men. My Facebook is Secure, same thing, Secure Men, Secure. The store address is 291 Grove Street, Jersey City, New Jersey. 297 Grove Street for the men's store, Jersey City, New Jersey. Our phone number is 201-347-3477. You can reach us. We're here to assist you. Yeah.
Well, girl, you dropped some gems today. You literally were going through my book chapter by chapter, and your faith is inspiration to me, and I'm sure it will be to lots of people who are listening. Keep the faith. You are worthy. You are just as beautiful as you tell everyone else. And I can't wait to see what God continues to do for you.
Thank you. God bless you. And this is amazing. This is dope. This is therapeutic.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I'm gonna have to call you back. We're gonna have to do some more therapy for me and you after the session.
Seriously. All right, girl. Have an amazing day.
Thank you. And thank you everyone for watching. Remember, if you like what you see, go ahead and hit that like, subscribe, and share. And we'll see you on our next episode of Dream Building 101. Bye, everybody.